All right, guys, the next topic that we're going to review before our upcoming DCP and our STAR test that's around the corner is going to be RIW, which is classifying numbers. So remember, we have 3 sections to our circle. We have our inner circle, which is whole numbers. And remember, whole numbers are going to be our positive numbers, and they're going to be positive counting numbers. +1, +2, +3. Okay, if you can count it on your fingers, then it's probably a positive whole number. Okay, then our next section is going to be our middle ring, which is integers. So integers are going to be your negatives, and they're still negative counting numbers. So -1, -2, -3, -4. So if they can be counted on your fingers with the word negative, they are going to fall in the integers circle. And then our last circle is going to be the outside circle, and that is going to be rational numbers. Okay, rational numbers are where your fractions and decimals go. So if they have a fraction or decimal part, they're going to belong in rational. It doesn't matter if they're positive or negative, they can be either, but they have to have a decimal or a fractional part to be in the outside circle. All right, so let's evaluate these example numbers. So I always evaluate myself out, in. So I'm going to check for fractions and decimals first. If they have any, they go here. Then I'm going to check for negatives, and then they go here. And if they don't have fraction or decimal parts or negatives, then they're going to fall into the center circle, which is going to be my positive counting numbers. All right. So I ask myself -3/8. Well, 3 is a small cowboy, and we know if it's got a small cowboy, then it's just a regular fraction. So this is considered a fraction, right? It's got a small cowboy. And so where do fractions go? Well, I know they go in rational. So even though it's negative, it doesn't matter because it automatically falls in my rational section because of the fraction. Okay? My second one, 10/2. Well, 10/2 is a fraction, but this time I have a large cowboy. 10 is larger than 2. And we know we never leave fractions with a large cowboy like a fraction, so we need to divide. Well, what is 10 divided by 2? Well, 10 divided by 2 actually equals 5. And that's a +5. So does +5 have a fractional part? Could it fall in rational? No, it could not. It doesn't have an actual fraction or decimal part. So then I move in. Does it have a negative? No, it does not. So the only place that this can fall is going to be my whole number section because it's a positive counting number. All right, so I'm going to write that on my whole numbers section. So this is going to be 10/2. And again, you'll see I wrote it as the original number, not my divided number. They equal the same thing, but I want to make sure I write the original number. All right, my next number is -10. So I ask myself, would -10 have a fraction or decimal part? No, it would not. So I'm going to move in. Would -10 be a negative counting number? Yes, it would. So that's where I'm going to stop, and I'm going to place -10. Because it's a negative, but it does not have fractions or decimals. So because it's a negative, it's going to go in integers. All right, and then my last number, 0.163. So I'm going to ask myself, first things first, does it have a fraction or decimal part? Yes, it's clearly a very long decimal. And so that's where I will place it because decimals only belong in my outside circle. And so that's your refresher on RIW. Go practice your you-dos.